And what I built was really, I built something I ended up hating, because I had this huge team doing these renovation deals, and I had multiple project managers, and it was, everybody was riding the Jerry wave, and it just was no fun. And it got to the point where it was just, it really stressed all the time, and I was not enjoying myself. And then as you and I, as you mentioned just a little bit ago, one of the things I realized was, I think a big thing for me, Scott, was I was not really running it as a businessman. Okay. I built this thing up, and I was doing it more of chasing deals with a big team. And I was all really, if you look at it, I was in a, real estate renovation business, and so I decided, this shit's got to stop. So basically kind of drew a line down the center of a piece of paper, and I realized that one side was real estate, another side was business. And I said, you know what? I know the real estate side in and out, but what I really got to do is focus on the business side. And I started really hammering down on that, to put in the systems, to make sure that I have the proper processes backed up with that too, then put in the proper people in the proper boxes, and then really built this, whole, really retooled the entire business over again. And then really got it to the point, Scott, where, fast forward to today, we have a setup where I have my COO, Ashley, who's been with me now about 7 years. She runs my company. And what a lot of people don't realize too, is that she actually runs my company in Ohio from New Mexico. She actually lives in New Mexico and runs it virtually. And that's how really how tight we had to dial in the systems. Now, she used to live here, but her husband's in the military and got transferred. So we're like, okay, a lot of people say, well, you can't do that, can't make that happen. We're like, well, we can. So we just dialed in our systems even tighter on things. Yeah, and what we do now, it's, I've dialed it in to the point where she runs the day-to-day. I'm pretty well out of that side of things. Only thing I'm involved with is meetings on a weekly basis with her, and watching the daily numbers on things. So I'm involved in about 3 to 4 hours a week in the business, and then she runs it, and it works like a production line process. And that's what I really like to look at on that side of things. In fact, that's one thing I do, is I teach a lot of people how to do this model and build and scale properly, because I've done it wrong so many times that I can tell them how to do it the right way, dude. So we're a big wholesale focus right now. I used to do a lot of rehabs, but our big focus is wholesaling. We do hold some property still, but our big thing is this, the production process. So I can stay out of the way and let Ashley run the organization, and let me be in a position where I can work on other things. I spend a lot of time on my educational business and helping others grow and do the same thing. So that's kind of my quick snapshot of things. And we do a volume of deals. We're averaging in the neighborhood of anywhere from 15 to 20 deals a month. So pretty large volume on things, and it just boom, boom, boom. And, we've got a good team. We got several acquisitions people. We got transaction coordinating, dispo side of things. Obviously, my assistant you met just a few minutes ago, when she was flipping me up the right way. So, but that's something we work very, very hard on, Scott. And a lot of time, a lot of years, a lot of screw ups, and a ton of money invested into all this.
So from what I get there, just for the people watching, right? And people always think it's so bad to make mistakes, and it's so bad to change things. And, from what I get from you here, which I kind of already knew, is you have shifted your business so many times based on the direction you are going, and having to shift it. I don't want to use the word mistake, because you really didn't know it was a mistake, right? But a good business has to constantly just pivot with where you're going. And as you grow, you start finding that people that were part of the business aren't growing with you. People that, were part of it just aren't bought into that vision. And there's one thing that comes to mind with our relationship that I remember, and I know you know probably what I'm talking about here, is we're sitting in our mastermind, and I remember you being up front, you're talking, and in the end, the consensus was you needed to go back and basically change your entire staff. And like you even hit the nail on the head when you said, people were riding the Jerry train, right? People were taking advantage of you, and you were almost an ATM to people.
Yeah, 100%, Scott. 100%, dude.
You went back after that meeting, and I remember your face from that meeting, because you were I think you came to a realization that it needed to happen, but you also had to go back and let some people go that were really close to you, that have become family. So people that are watching this, that are scaling their business right now, you had to let almost family go from your business. And that's a lot to overcome. So if there's somebody else watching that is in that same boat where they're starting to realize their employees not growing, is there any advice you can give those people as far as when you came to that realization, you had a plane ride home to think about it, and I know that's probably all you thought about, and then you had to go into the office and you had to make that decision and actually do this? What can you tell people about, how that felt and how you felt afterwards?
I'll tell you, Scott, just a couple things on that so people understand how tough that was. Number one lady was with me for 12 years. Okay. And then another gentleman was with me for 15 years and also was the best man in my wedding when I got remarried.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that was not easy at all, dude. In fact, I started crying during that whole time. But here's what I realized on things, Scott, though, was first of all, the way that this became really clear on things was I really started putting in the correct accountability, and I started really measuring the numbers like I should. Okay. And then when I put that accountability in place, what happened, man, was all the smoke and mirrors went away. And then all of a sudden this stuff started appearing. And what I realized was some of the people that I had on my team for years and years were not able to actually report on the numbers that they should. And I thought, wow, this is unbelievable. And it was a real awakening for me. So that's the first thing I want to tell people is, make sure that you have the proper tracking, the proper accountability in place. Because guys, if you don't, stuff can fly by so fast. And next thing you know, you don't even know this stuff is happening. You're not aware of it. See, it's so easy for us to get caught up into the business itself. And it's almost like, Scott almost referred to, this is kind of like muscle memory almost. Like if you're working in a factory or something like that, and you're working on an assembly line, well, people do the same thing. They get this muscle memory going. Well, you can do the same thing with your mind. And then what happens is you're not aware, you're not looking at the bigger picture of things, dude. You're just so caught up into that's what you do every day. And then you become blind to everything is going on around you. So that was a big thing for me. And I hope people take a little bit from this and think about that. Then the other couple big things I learned from this to kind of really hit on your point there was, first of all, do not ever justify keeping somebody.